Hello, hello, hello. Will, how are you doing?
It is a beautiful day in the neighborhood,
I
and I'm
know,
doing
right?
good. Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, this is such a beautiful time of the year because the topic that we are doing this evening is so on point. It's a mid-year reset, and it's what you're gonna keep, what you're gonna release, and how you're gonna readjust yourself as you move forward from this point on. At this point is a great point for us because you're able to recalibrate, you're able to reset, and you're able to see things that is not working and to just release it. But sometimes we find a difficult time in releasing what no longer works for us. So ask yourself the question this evening: am I still aligned with the goals that I set in January? Am I still aligned with the goals that I set in January? Because many times we have made some massive shifts, and the goals that we set in January, it's not working anymore for us. And then we are beating up ourselves and we are asking ourselves so many questions. Why is that? Why this is not working anymore for us? But the thing is that you have shifted. Your energy have shifted. So you're not aligned with what you set in January. So sometimes it's your habits, your relationships. You got to recalibrate your relationships because it's not aligned with you any longer. And it's not only mentally, it's physically as well. How is your environment? And your environment speaks so much about you because a lot of times we got so much clutter around us and we can't even get to focus. We can't get to focus on what is in front of us because there are so many things around us. And the clutter within and the clutter outside. Says both inside and outside, both clutter. We gotta clear so we could get clear vision and we can able to see exactly where we are going. So this evening, we're going to touch on some great pointers to help you as an individual that you can recalibrate. Don't give up because many times, we tell ourselves, is it too late to course correct? It's not too late. It is not too late. You're here. And once you are here, you can correct the course. You're allowed to do that and do it with love and compassion. Because many times at this point in time of the year, when we seeing things are not really working the way how we really set out and thought it would have been working, we tend to beat up ourselves so bad. But we need to look at ourselves with love and compassion. And as I said again, just look more closer and you're able to see exactly what is working and what is not working. So you can able to say, you know what? I think I'm going to let this go. Or what you can even do, you can break it down now because you know what, you're not really starting over. You're starting with data. You got data to move forward with now. So you can able to break it down into smaller, micro, really small. So go really small and you can set it now in short term, medium term, and long term. So you could break it up now because you know what, you got the data and you could able to break it up now to able to move forward. So by the end of the year, you're able to accomplish so many other things. But you're not, as I said, you're not starting from where you start in January. So give yourself some credit and celebrate those small wins from January to now. Celebrate those small wins that you have accomplished from January to now. Because you know what? You work hard to get here. Celebrate the work that you put in to arrive where you are right now. Because it's all the mindset, you know. Look at your routines, look at the things that you're doing, and look at it with compassion, look at it with love, because it helps you to understand more even about yourself. It helps you to look at yourself with a different eye, and it helps you to understand your journey, because each stage of our lives require different aspects of our lives. We may start off as a little child. We grow. 14 is a different stage. Each time, each year that you go through life is a different phase that you're going through because it's a different experience. So show yourself grace, as Joan would say, show yourself some grace, because showing yourself grace is the compassion part. So this evening, just sit back, just relax, have a notepad, a pen, because get ready to take some notes because we're gonna help you to really break things down at this mid-year. A lot of people are finding it very difficult with this mid-year process because we've been talking to a lot of people in Tea Talk and Transformation ecosystem, and we have realized that a lot of people is really beating up the self at this point in time, and you really can't do that to yourself because you owe yourself the grace. And we all have to come to the place of knowing what is working and what is not working. Whatever you feed the brain, that is what the brain is going to do. That's the machine. That is the machine. So whatever you put into the machine, that is what the machine is going to spill out and give to you. So just look at your input. Look at your input so you could get a good output. So this evening, we just want you to throw back, just relax, just sit with us and just enjoy this 1 hour. And we'll welcome to the studio, Joan. Take the mic.
Thank you.
Wow. That was a
Good
real
opening.
and strong intro.
Yeah.
And that is what we're going to be sharing tonight. Our points are going to be very profound because now it's serious moments, serious time.
Yeah, it is.
We've entered 2026 sometimes with
You cure sickle cell.
with aspirational goals and what we plan to do and what we hope to achieve, and with a great mindset that this is how my year is going to run. And then life happens.
Yeah.
Then life happens. And then when life happens, things shift. And how do you course correct, as Lady K or Karen that you spoke about? How do you course correct? Because sometimes it might be a very tumultuous moment for you. And how you gather yourself together and stay strong, stay grounded in that moment. You might have had loss during that year. You might have lost someone, your job, someone who you love, someone who you care about, or just something strong and profound that happened to you. And how do you gather yourself and ground yourself and bounce back, we should say? Because we would look at it, it was a setback. It was a setback for you. And how do you gather the level of strength? How do you gather the level of determination and the level of resilience that you know what? Because there's where acceptation is very important. You pause, you accept, this did happen, and you work your way through it. Whatever modalities you have to use, whether it's meditation, whatever it is that worked for you, because we all are by your individuality. You're not late, you're not behind. As we had a show where we talk about the flow, and Angela reminds us that you, instead of saying focus, you say you're going to change your gaze, changing your gaze, and you're bringing certain things to the forefront that make sense to you, that can work for you in this second quarter, and that you could move through third quarter and conclude by December, that you can still achieve some of the goals that you had in mind, what you enter 2026 with. When we talk about pruning, releasing, making some adjustments, sometimes you do have to adjust. You do have to adjust because now you're Not that you weren't serious before, but now you're moving on an intentional level. You're moving with a level of energy that is really intentional. And so you're going to decide what you're going to narrow down and where you're going to move from. You're not starting over really, because as Karen has already mentioned, you already got a data from January
Yeah.
to now. And so you got enough to move forward. Sometimes you got to let some friendship go. Sometimes you got to let, we were talking to someone today, and she's a business person, and but she said that, she had to let her assistant go because not that she's a bad person, but there is where their level of alignment comes into
Yeah.
play, because sometimes we outgrow, we talked this on the show on Sunday, that sometimes we outgrow situations, sometimes we outgrow people, sometimes because we all are moving on a different level, and our energy, our frequency, our vibration changes. And nothing wrong with that, because we all are moving to our own on our own trajectory.
Right.
So it's not a bad thing, because it means that we are evolving, we are growing, and we're able to achieve whatever is it that we have in mind to live the best version of ourselves. And what inspired action are you taking tonight when you look at your blueprint and where you are? That's why this is a great topic we're talking about tonight. What are your implementation? What are you going to implement new with the data that you've gained for the past 6 months? What are you going to implement that you're going to say, this makes sense? I'm going to do it in small increments, small milestones. And as we spoke about, and Karen talked about, celebrate your wins, big or small. You've worked hard to achieve that. It took the time, tears, sweat, and everything sometimes, because sometimes the task is very arduous. But you work through it, you pull through it. You stand and look yourself in front of the mirror, and you go to your I am. I am capable. I'm enough. I am strong. And I am winning. I'm special. I'm unique. And I have what it takes to achieve my goal. I'm going to surround myself with the right kind of people that are going to help me to, and I don't want to say help, that so that I can attain my goal, my success, whatever I'm striving for. Because I'm not only just surviving, I am thriving. How does your inner terrain look? How does your inner terrain look? Are you focusing on your microbiome? Are you choosing high vibrational foods so that you can have the good health, vitality, so that all the goals that you're trying to achieve or you're working on, that you can be strong enough to achieve it? Are you practicing self-care? Are you pausing, taking time for you? Because as we all talk on this show, you cannot serve from an empty cup. You got to be fulfilled. You got to be fortified so that you can serve and serve well. Because if you're serving from an empty cup, what are you doing? You're again doing it yourself a disservice, and you're doing whoever you're serving, whoever you're serving a disservice as well.
Yes.
So focus on your self-care, focus on your microbiome. That is why we wrote the two books, Self-Care is Intentional and Your Gut and You. So those are tools that we offer to the world so that you can able to live and live full, not just surviving, but thriving, and that you live in the best version of yourself, because that's why we in this universe want to live our best, bring the best to the world so that we can create the level of impact that the world can benefit from. So sit back, relax. Thanks to all of you who sign on for Tea Talk and Transformation Ecosystem. We're having a great time with that. And if you're thinking about joining us, just DM us the word Bloom, and we'll send all the information to you so that you can be a part of something that is transformational. And thanks to all of you who subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we're growing and we're growing organically, and we're able to bring great topics to you every week, great guests, and expanding your toolbox or your toolkit so that we all can grow together
Yes.
and live well. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. We got a great guest in the house tonight. He's no stranger to us, but those of you who are joining us for the very first time, this is Will Williams, and he's going to take the mic and introduce himself. I'm Joan Williams, certified holistic health and wellness coach, and among other things that we do. So, Will, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you very much, my sister in spirit. You know, when you mention our last names there, people connect that, to Williams. Hey, I wonder if they're related. Well, we are spiritually, okay? So with that,
Thank you.
with
Yeah.
that being said, I'd like to mention what the topic is again. So I'm gonna let people know how we're going to do this tonight. Reset, keep, release, adjust. It's the title that you ladies came up with. And what I'm going to do is take us through all of those are sort of interconnected. So you mentioned flow. That's how we're going to go through this. We're going to flow right through all of those, reset, keep, release,
Nice.
and adjust. And the flow is going to awaken you to where you can still see that this is not the end. It's just a new beginning for you.
Sure.
Now, as you mentioned at the top of the show, everybody has a plan in January. And no matter whether we're talking about business, socially, or just your family, personal life, in 6 months, you need to sort of take a look, just peek around and kind of look and see kind of what's going on with your life and your business. Have you been able to accomplish half of the goals that you set? And then in life, have you grown the way you expected yourself to do? Because you told yourself at the beginning of the year, I'm not a resolution type person, but you may have told yourself that something was going to be different. So you've had 6 months to work on that. And if at this point, none of those goals have been obtained, then somewhere the ball is being dropped. You're not connecting the dots per se. So what we're going to try to do with you this evening, this is short, but it's going to be to the point. And it's going to be put in your subconscious to where you can utilize it when you're ready to. Because we're going to speak to you, as Lady J mentioned, she said, I am. And then she went through a lot of different I ams in there. So she's already implanted and opened your mind up to where you can accept what's being said. So as I start to speak here, the first word I'm going to use is narrative.
Ooh, love that.
Yes, because you have to set that up. So you have to
Right.
you have to speak into existence what you're talking about you want to do. So you have to plant the narrative for that. You just can't keep it to where it's just stored and you're not speaking it out. You have to talk about it and speak it. The second thing I want to say is uncertainty. Because
Sure.
you create a certain level of uncertainty because you're trying to move into areas that you're not familiar with. So to some degree, you have conflict and anxiety and fear in play every single day that you've made this resolution that you're going to do whatever it is that you put on your table that you're going to have done for this year. We're at the 6 month mark. We have 6 more to go. So if you have uncertainty, the next thing you need to do is take a look at your frame because you're framing your environment. And so you're going to function off of reframing the environment to where it fits to where you are right now. So if you have taken the steps to move forward and you still have, because everything won't be in your control. See, that's the thing about this. When you're making shifts and you're moving, everything is not going to line up perfectly for you. And they
Right,
mentioned
true.
that at the top of the show as they were doing the introduction. You're going to have some parts of it where it's not going to be aligned. And in those times, that's when you need to really refocus and reset your mindset, as Lady J likes to use, and figure out how you're going to bring yourself back into alignment. Now, to do that, you have to embody the thing or the personality that you're trying to become, or the thing that you're trying to do. You have to embody it. And what that means is be present, be aware, and connected to your senses, because you're going to use your senses to lead you through the murky waters that are going to come up. There's going to be stormy waters, okay? So you're going to have some high water, high tide. And so you have to be able to realign yourself to go through that. So you have to do that through embodying whatever it may be, but you have to be present. Can't be yesterday. You can't be tomorrow. It has to be right now. If you do those things, as I mentioned, the narrative, you've now stepped back into that, right? Because now you're starting to lay out how you're going to go about doing this. And the process of doing that, you're going to make yourself aspirational and authoritative. Now, when you step into aspirational authority, you're embodying your values. Your values become important. So, because you're not just going to speak it, you have to become it. And those values are going to be reflected in what you're saying you want to become and do. That's the only way you're going to be able to get this thing done. So whatever you desire, you have to become to where it becomes a perception. You perceive it to be a symbol or an example of the perception, so to speak, okay? So you're going to see the thing in your mind's eye, and then you're going to follow that vision to where you want to go. So your narrative has to be on point, because if you're telling yourself one story and you're doing the opposite, then you cannot embody where you're trying to go. Those things are not going to line up, and you're going to find yourself
It's alignment.
all over the place. Yeah, you're going to be, Tommy was on we were talking backstage before the show, and he was talking about the incident where he was kind of all over the place. I'm going to use his example here. If you don't align that, your purpose and where you say you want to go, then you're going to do what he suggested. He said you just, you get to glowing, and before you know it, you're over here. You might be over there, somewhere down the road, but you're not where you want to go. So
True.
that's why you have to use the narrative to speak it exactly how
Yeah.
you want to do it. Because if the directions are not properly executed as far as speaking it, then you have no flow to it. You can't get a flow. That's why you feel a little bit out of place and out of alignment, because you're telling yourself one thing, but it's not aligning with your values. And then the other part of it is you just can't get it to line up, because again, you're speaking it differently than your value system is. And your values are going to come back in play and tell you, I'm not on board with this, which is your subconscious talking to you basically. Because you have a set of values that you live by, and those become your principles, okay? And as you start to move through where you're trying to go, you start to line those up. But the thing that also has to come into play is spiritual, because we're in a spiritual era now where you have to align everything up to where it's, again, I'm not talking about a certain religion or any type of something that you have to, a deity or something you should worship, okay? I'm talking about spiritually you. I'm talking about you, not the body you, but the you that we don't see. If you line yourself up in the spiritual nature, now you can, that's renewal. So you'll find yourself starting to release, adjust, and those things will start to come back into keep and reset, right? Because spiritually, what you're going to do is you're going to transform. Now, as I mentioned this, spirituality and religion connects. They're basically the same things. People have tried to separate them because you're trying to look for a block to sit yourself over here and say that you're more than that over there. But they're the same thing. So in Romans 12:2, we talk about transformation. And you do that through renewal of your mind. So within the structure of this 6 months, you're struggling and finding yourself trying to figure out from day to day, how did I get this far out of alignment? You see, as you start to move forward, everything is not going to stay in place as you
Yeah.
would desire them to. So there are going to be some high waters,
Sure.
some stormy waters, high
Mhm.
tide. And so
Mhm.
you have to figure out, yeah, you can, you see people driving through water that's taller than their vehicle, and they're like, okay, I got a 4-wheel drive, so I know it'll make it. No, it won't. You're gonna float. It doesn't take that much water to take a vehicle and turn it into a boat. You turn a 4-wheel drive SUV into a boat pretty easily. But people, you see it all the time. They'll see the water is high, and they'll say, okay, well, I got 4-wheel drive, I can make it. And forgetting all about that, once they get to the deeper portions of that, the contact of the tires on the concrete is not going to be there. So the car is going to float. It's going to start floating. Then that's when you see people on the phone while the car's floating down downstream. They're on the phone dialing 911, trying to tell I need some help. But at that point, if you just waited, you have to have some patience. If you just waited a few more minutes, the rain would have subsided and the water would have went down, or you would have decided to go in a different direction. Okay. So you have to find your way through the stormy waters. That's Isaiah 43:18-21 to tell you that. And as you make your way through, right, this is required to do because you have to become right now. Remember I mentioned at the top, present, be present. So you have to remember what you have experienced, but don't stay there. That's the past.
Mhm.
And don't go too far over to where you want to go, because that's the future. You want to be right now. And if you do that, everything starts to line up. And you won't find yourself being as stressed as you would be had you just made a wild, unconscious decision. Because you have choices all the time. But many times people won't take enough time or patience, rather, to stand still long enough to let that your senses kick in to help you realize that this is what you need to do. Once you start thinking with your intuition, your intuition will tell you we're not doing that, but you try to override that. And that's where you find yourself trying to drive through the little lake that
That's
I
right.
just mentioned.
That's right.
Your water is taller than the vehicle, but here you go, lights on, you turn your windshield wipers on, and you going. You're not going to make it. And every year we have a lot of people that lose their lives because they just decided to do something that they did not need to do. And if they just had a little bit more patience, could have went in a different direction or waited that out, and the water would recede at some point to where it's low enough now for the car to drive across. But people were willing to, say a few words and, okay, Jesus, it's going to be all right, right? I'm going through, you remember me. I give money every Sunday. You remember me, right? I take communion. You got to remember me. So, just protect me through this. And here you go, pushing the gas, going through, thinking that you're going to be taken care of. You can't do that. And this time that we're in right now, especially, the world is upside down because we're going through this transformation. And as we move forward through this transformation, a lot of people are still looking for a script, right? They're looking for it to be perfect, or at least give them some sense of direction. The movie is out right now. What is it called? Disclosure Day. People are upset with this movie because they had one sense of what they were going to see in the movie, and then it's turning out to be something totally different than what they expected. So there's bad mouthing. It doesn't have a plot. The plot makes no sense, but it has all type of symbolism in it, though. You see, because it's delivered in levels, and if you're looking for a script to direct you through this movie, that's why you don't think it's not much there. You're saying, okay, the aliens look artificial, they don't look real. It made no sense. What is Discovery Day? How are they gonna get it out? They're trying to get to a television station to disperse the information instead of we're in 2026. Why aren't they just go online and just upload it? And it's global instantly. Instead of trying to do a local news station, I'm going to get on TV and tell everybody that the aliens are here. So people are all over the place trying to figure out what is this movie about. It's no good. Spielberg's out over the hill. But as I just mentioned, it's not scripted that way on purpose. He gave you a symbol, and then he reached out and told you this is going to be a different movie that's going to upset people who are religious, because now they have to go back and question whether their God created other beings in other places. That in the Bible didn't say anything about that. It just talked about us here on earth. So what does that mean to you if some beings from another place are here? How did they come to be? So religion is going to be questioned, but that's not what's causing the religion to shift. The era that we're in right now is one of knowing. And as the ladies mentioned, it's also not, it's an individual thing, but it's also not so where you isolate yourself. And so a lot of people are getting lost because they're trying to figure out, well, if my religion that I've been absorbed in all this time is not real and it's being taken away from me, then who am I? So that's why they're upset at the movie, because it is doing exactly what he said it was going to do. It makes them question. And so they're fussing about him not directing or creating a great movie, but they're questioning because they didn't see it the way they thought they were going to. You see, he misled them, but not in the way that they think they've been misled. He's
Right.
telling you, I'm showing you the symbol, but you don't get it.
Right.
And that's the thing that's making people upset. They don't get it because they're looking past the symbolism, and sometimes they don't understand what the symbolism is. So they're looking for a script that takes them from point A to point B. Who's the antagonist? Who's the good guy? So they're looking for that type of movie. The alien is barely in the movie, so you rarely see the alien that they're talking about. The movie is for. You rarely see it, and it's an older alien. He's in a wheelchair. Yeah, the alien is riding around in a wheelchair. So it's not the kind of movie where they were going to show up in the sky and then people were it's going to be all this chaos around, and it's the same thing in your reset. What you're looking for is going to be subtle. And if you know what the signs are, you can read the tea leaves, so to speak. Hey, I gave a plug there, didn't I?
You did. The tea leaves, if you know what the sign is.
Yes. So you know what the sign is because you understand it. Because it's being laid out for you, but you have to have understanding to see it. But that's what spirit is. And that's what you need right now to see you through this time, is you need to be attached to your spirit. Once your spirit speaks to you, it will show you how you need to move. And if you move accordingly, everything will be fine. Now, during this time, as we go through this transformation and as you adjust your schedule and your blueprints of what you thought you were going to be doing right now and what's actually going on, you have to set yourself aside and say, okay, I'm going to make the changes that I need to right now from what I had planned to do. And it may be something really small that you may need to do, right? It may not be anything really major, but if you do that small thing, it'll be enough to get you by.
Right.
See, and that's how you have to look at it, because it's not about you being a winner or a loser or the money that's attached to it, because that's what you're making the change for, is to try to obtain more things. But when you flip it into spirituality, things are not so much important to you, because those things you'll accomplish and obtain. But your spirit,
Mhm.
because of where we are, that's what's going to allow you to obtain those things. If you stay detached from that,
Mhm.
you won't be able to see it. They'll be coming to you, but you won't be able to see it. And some people right now, some of you that are watching this show and listening to us talk, are already at your point, but you can't see it because you're looking for piles of it to be shelved in front of you, right? You worked really hard for 6 months. You put everything into play and everything lined up, and it looked like it was going to be very successful.
Mhm.
And it probably actually is. But as I just mentioned, you can't see it because that's the era that we're in. The unseen can only be seen if you're tapped into the spiritual level. That's the only way you're going to see it. Otherwise,
Mhm.
if you're still living from the material aspect of it, you will not be able to connect to what's actually sitting right in front of your face.
Mhm.
Just like I mentioned the movie, that's what I was using the movie for, because it's sitting right there. When you sit down and eat your popcorn and hot dog and watching that movie, it's put right in front of you and you don't see it because you're looking for the aliens to be coming out of the sky. You're looking for a
Mhm.
big fancy spaceship, you know? So it's this world operates in subtleties. And as we're making this shift, now this shift has been kind of abrupt because of the way things were starting to build up. The world, the earth itself is shaking things up, right? And
Mhm.
so things are sort of speeded up a little bit. But it's been happening for the past probably 10, 15 years. Time is what we call time has shifted. But we weren't paying any attention to that because you had all this other stuff going on in your life. So you didn't see it, just like I mentioned. So reset, keep, release, adjust is all simultaneously happening for you if you open your eyes, and you have to open yourself up spiritually to see it.
Mhm.
Without
Mhm.
that, you cannot connect to it. And your heart's energy, as I mentioned in the last show, your heart's energy will allow you to connect to it because you'll feel it. That love that you have for whatever it is you're doing or trying to accomplish, it will
Mhm.
start to line up. Those people that will come into your life, the ones that are leaving, as Lady J mentioned, the ones that are leaving, their time is up with you.
Mhm.
You may not want to accept that, and you may want to hang on just a little bit longer because you're not ready for them to go. But it's
Right.
time for them to go because you're getting ready to go to the next level.
Mhm.
And as you move to the next level, they're not there with you, so
Yep.
you can't take them with you. You may
Nope.
want to pack them up in the bag, and I'm gonna slip them through. It's not gonna happen. They're gonna get left behind. But that doesn't mean that you have to completely lose your memory
Right.
of them because
Right.
you're about to gain new friends, new people. It's gonna, challenge you again. They're gonna come in and take everything that you're familiar with. It's gonna be displaced because now you're getting ready to learn some new things. That's gonna
Okay.
scare you, of
Right.
course, but that means meeting new people. I saw an article today on LinkedIn, as a matter of fact. They were talking about uh, networking, and as I'm reading through this thing, I'm like, okay, we're out of that era. It's not about networking anymore. It's about relationships now.
Yeah.
The more people you know, the more opportunities will present themselves to you. Because as I
Mhm.
mentioned before, those people become sponsors for you.
Mhm.
Remember, you're going to put away the person that's going to be next to you, that's going to offer you some type of extra advice or something to that nature. You need a sponsor, but that sponsor is going to come from your relationship, not networking. Networking, you just sort of meet people and it's superficial. A relationship, something totally different
Mhm.
because you pour into those people and they pour into you,
Correct.
and they carry your name into a space that you haven't been yet.
That's not my friend.
opposed to networking, which networking, as soon as you leave, you know, they may not even remember you. And unless you guys enter the same space again, they probably never mention your name again. But
Right.
when you have a relationship, those people to get to know you. And
Yes.
that's what you need today. See, it's not so much about, you know, you having your titles and that kind of thing. It's about your talent and your relationships. That's where we are. So no matter what you have business wise, it can be sold. Your business can actually scale and get to where you want to go. You want to sell more things, you can do that. But you have to know more people in order to do that. And you don't need a
Right.
big network to do that. You know, a lot of times, especially with where we are now online, you don't need a big following anymore. That's over with. You don't need big following. If you have 5,000 people, or down, I'll take it even lower than that, to 1,000. Those same 1,000 people can support your business to where you can sustain it, to where you'll be able to, depending on what you're selling. But if those people buy into you and believe in you, they believe in your service or your product, and they'll do business with you constantly. So now you have a set group of customers who are going to support you no matter what you're putting out, they're going to buy it. So you're still trying to do it the old fashioned way of, I need to grow over here. I need 10,000 people. I need 15,000 people. No, you don't. You just got to get a consistent group of people who believe
Yes.
in you. If they believe in you, you have your support system already in place. Now it's up to you to make sure that you build a relationship with them. Now, you know, when you talk about the larger corporations, those are going to always be impersonal because they're too big to connect on a level like what we're talking about. But if you're a small to mid-sized company, you can build relationships with those people. You know, most places that I frequent often, those people who own those businesses, they know me by my first name because I've done business with them so much that we've established a relationship. So
Right.
I call them by their first name. I go into that store or whatever it is. They say, "Hey, Will, how's it going today?" And we'll chit chat like, you know, we're just old friends. And people are walking around like, how did he know him? But that's because we have a
Right.
relationship. We're not networking. So that's what I'm saying. If you go to a place enough, the cashier that's there on that particular time will get to know you if you're open to that. Now, some people just go in and
Mhm.
they just want to throw their money on the thing and get out of there, right? So you don't build anything with that, though. They'll know your face, but they don't get to actually
Know you.
exist with you. They don't get to know you.
Mhm. Mhm.
The better people get to know you, it's easier for you if you have a problem to come back in with a complaint and they'll fix it. They won't
Right.
charge you extra stuff for it. You know, you won't get charged for it because they want to keep your business per se or your relationship
Mhm.
with them, and so they'll take care of it. And so that's how you want to see this thing is at this point, this 6 month period where you're trying to figure out, well, what do I need to do? Reset, keep, release, adjust. And if you do that, remember, form your narrative, and uncertainty is a good thing. Okay, don't. I have this thing where if you feel stress from anxiety or because uncertainty is kind of taking you off of your plane of feeling comfortable, I do ask the audience to do three things. Right, I'll ask them to do simple too. I ask them first to, if you're, you know, stressed out, feel some high tense of level of anxiety, I want you to see three things. Find out, look around and see three things, and then tell yourself that you see them. Okay, and what this will do is it'll gradually bring your anxiety down to where your blood pressure will start to lower. And then I'll
Mhm.
ask them to touch three things. And that could be anything, right? Again, they're not paying close attention to what I'm doing. I'm talking to their subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
So the subconscious is saying, okay, we got this. We just
Mm-hmm.
saw three things. We just find those three things. Okay, touch three things. Okay, we've touched three things. Before you know it, now your heartbeat is slow. Your blood pressure's gone
Mm-hmm.
down. And you're ready now to function as you know you can because you don't have that anxiety that's
Anxiety.
telling you speed this up,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're all over the place, as Tommy mentioned. You're all over the
Mhm.
place trying to figure out how to get back to the beginning. But if you
Mm-hmm.
do that, it will refocus you. That's what I'm trying to do, is tell you to refocus. So when I mention that to, and the subconscious picks up on it, it immediately understands that, okay, that means let's refocus here. That's what we're doing, is refocusing. So yeah, let's look around, find those three things, let's touch three things. Now we're ready to go. So if you get
Mhm.
into a state to where you feel uncomfortable like that, just remember what I just said. The subconscious is going to remember what I just said.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to tell you, oh yeah, we have a technique for this. Hold on
Mhm.
here. Yeah, we can do this.
Mhm.
It's going to slow your
Mm-hmm.
breathing down. That's part
Mhm.
of coming back. That psychologically, that resets you.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so like I told you, as I spoke, I was going to connect this and we were just going to flow. And so I went through spiritual, religious, and
Mm-hmm.
psychologically, like I always speak about. Those three things are all thrown in there, and you didn't even notice it because we were flowing through
Right.
resolutions. So, with that being said, ladies, I would like for us to now have a discussion.
You take the floor first, Joe.
I thought you would have jumped right in. No, yeah. Thank you. You have given us, you've expanded our toolbox
Mm-hmm.
because someone is sitting tonight and saying, or whenever they're going to watch the replay,
Mm-hmm.
mid year, reset, keep, release, adjust. How do I do that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
I got all these goals and everything, nothing seemed to be working. But what you've done, you've grounded us in this moment. And I'm going to pick up from the last when you said the way how you calm your anxiety down on your
Mm-hmm.
nervous system
Mm-hmm.
is that first you see three things.
Mm-hmm.
Just by using your sensory to look and find three things, that alone start calming you down because you're
Absolutely.
not focusing on the problem or the situation or what's going on around you. You're
Mm-hmm.
zooming in on three things.
Mm-hmm.
And when you zoom in on those three things, then the next inspired action you're going to take, you're going to touch.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to touch three things now. Your body, your vagus nerve, your nervous system start to regularize.
Mm-hmm.
So your body, you're dropping down into yourself and you're getting calmer. Anxiety is chipping away. And within that time frame, in that duration, you're ready to go.
That's right.
You're ready to focus, refocus. You're ready to take, you're looking at things now from a clearer lens because clarity comes into
Mm-hmm.
place,
Absolutely.
right?
Very
And
good.
then, thank you. And then now you're clearing yourself up. Well, because there is clarity now, then you have a roadmap.
Yes.
What am I going to start with first? What makes sense to me in this moment? What can I move first? Change my gaze. What am I going to bring to the forefront? And then I start to work from there and align down the line
Ooh,
because I
that's
know.
good.
Mm-hmm.
That is
Thank you.
good. Whew.
Yeah, sit with that for a minute. Sit with that for a minute because
Absolutely.
now what you've done, the individual now has rearranged. So there's no misalignment.
Mm-hmm.
You've aligned things yourself. You move into your inner self, your inner intuition, and so you get calmer, you get smarter, you get wiser. Not that you weren't before, but you just get more grounded. And when you get grounded, you sit with yourself, your nervous system is in a great space, anxiety is already moved away, and your clarity is, so your focus becomes different. You're getting brain fog, all of that is gone.
All is gone. Yes.
All it is gone because that is why clarity is there. And so then you can look through a different lens, not how you started, but there's a little evolution in that space. And now you said, well, okay, I know what makes sense to me. I know what I'm going to start first with. I know how I'm going to move on this trajectory. And so, because I did some rearrangement, I did some realignment. Now it is the step for me to do the implementation. What am I going to implement first? And there is where you go from there on.
Man, that was
Okay.
good.
Thank you.
This was such a good
It is.
conversation, and the thing is that we all need to look at our lives at this point in time of the year.
Yes.
We are moving so fast, and we're not even pausing to really look at what we're doing. We're not pausing to look what we are doing. And Will, I really like on the things that you touched on. You talked about narrative. What are the things we are telling ourselves on a daily basis?
Right.
If you're going to set a goal, we are setting this big lofty goal in January, right? And if every day when you're waking up and you're telling yourself negative things about the goal, you cannot see the goal happening. It's not going to happen because you're not aligning yourself with what you're saying that you're looking for in your life. So your narrative is really important to really help you to move forward and to see things manifesting the way how you're looking for it to manifest in your life. Okay. So, right. Will, I really like when you talked about narrative, because our narrative is the key that holds us back.
Absolutely.
That's so true.
If we don't look at things that we're telling ourselves on a daily basis, we're not going to shift into the direction that we need to go.
Right.
We're going to stay going in that loop all the time. And then we're going to be asking ourselves, why am I still here?
Exactly.
Look at the loop system. Look at that loop system that you're in, because you're in a loop. You're in a loop. And another thing that Will talked about, he talked about uncertainty, right? Because sometimes you may tell yourself, okay, I have this goal, I'm planning this, but you never know what tomorrow is going to bring for you. You never know what is going to happen tomorrow. So many times we really can't set things in stone because we don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. And I like to talk about self-awareness, because you have to readjust yourself when things happen.
Right.
We have to readjust ourselves when things happen in our lives. Life happens to each and every one of us.
Right.
But you're not going to stay there. You have to readjust, recalibrate, and then start to move. So whatever the goals in January, and if today you're looking at yourself and you're saying, you know what, I am not shifting, I'm just drifting, right? You got to revise these goals, look at it, and as I said in the opening statement, break it down. Because life happens. Sometimes you got sick over the period of time from January to now, you got sick. So sometimes you got sick for a month, you had the flu, you didn't feel like doing anything, and it's okay. You're giving the body a rest. It's quite okay. So sometimes you got to revise the whole thing and then come again. But as I said before, you already have the data that you need. You already have that as a foundation that you can stand on to move forward. And Will, you talk about a frame. What frame are you in? What frame of mind are you in?
That's good.
Yes.
What frame of mind are you in? Because if your mind is limited, your system is going to be limited.
That's right.
So you have to have a good frame of mind. You have to have the right mindset. When we are setting goals for ourselves, we have to have the right mindset. And perception comes from the mind.
Oh, that's
Your
good.
perception comes from the mind.
That's good.
So the way how you perceive something, that is how it's gonna happen. You're gonna attract that towards yourself. So
Mhm.
setting a goal is not just setting a goal, it's a system.
Wow.
Mhm.
It is a system. And the thing is that January is the aspiration, right? But you now meet to June and you got to be honest with yourself because you're in June now, you're midpoint. You are the midpoint. So you got to be honest with
Yeah.
yourself and say, you know what, this is not working for me. Sometimes you're in a relationship. You just got into a relationship in January or February or March,
Yeah.
right? And then you realize, you know what, this isn't working for me.
Mhm.
This energy is not what I really want to attach myself with or to. So it's time now you revise it and then you say to yourself, you know what? It's time for me to exit out
That's
of
right.
this relationship. I really don't want to go further with this.
Yeah.
So it's not goals alone, it's relationships as well.
Mhm.
What are you putting your energies to?
So,
You
right,
know, so
right.
it's so
Yes.
many things we gotta look up. And another thing too, are we skipping steps?
Oh,
When you
that's
lay
good.
the foundation, you can't skip steps.
No.
Because if you skip steps, it's going to be a shaky ground you're standing on.
That's right.
So if you're skipping the steps, it's not going to work. Because many times when we're setting these goals, we got to put in the inspired action.
Oh,
And we
Mhm.
got to make the list of things that we
yeah.
need to make this foundation strong. So when these goals start to manifest, they can able to sustain when it manifests. And another thing too, are we thinking out of alignment?
Yes.
Are we thinking out of alignment? As I said before, whatever you think, that is what you're going to
That's
attract.
what you tracked.
That is what you feed in the mind. That is what you feed in the brain. So whatever you feed the mind, that is what is going to come right back to you. So if you're saying you set the goal and then you're saying, I don't know if this is going to work, you know,
Mm.
I didn't even know why I set this goal. So if you started bringing all of those things into the system, you're weakening the foundation.
That's right.
You're weakening that foundation that you're setting. You're weakening that foundation. And, you know, to become the version that you're looking for, you got, as Will said, you got to embody it.
Gotta embody it.
You got to embody that version that you're looking for. So let's say you want to be a speaker. You got to start to see yourself being a speaker.
Mhm.
If you're saying that you want to start a podcast, you got to start to see yourself doing the podcast. If you got to stand up in front of your mirror and speak to yourself, start doing it.
Start
It's a
there.
step forward. Just start stand up in front of the mirror and talk to yourself.
Mhm.
It may sound like if you're crazy, but you're not crazy. You're practicing your craft.
Oh,
Yes.
You're practicing your craft because you want to put yourself out there, but you want to make sure that when you're doing it, that you can start from somewhere. You're laying the foundation. That's one of the blocks that
Mhm.
you're putting down on the foundation. And then I like when you talk about spirituality, because many times we are just moving through life, but we don't have no form of spirituality. And then when things happen to us, we holler, oh God. Only then is when the spirituality come in, oh
Yeah.
God. So what
Yeah.
happened? What happened? What happened to God or whatever you serving all the time?
Mhm.
What happened to that divine essence all the time? You're not serving it, but when things arise in your life, you holler, oh God, why this happened?
Yes.
So we really gotta look at our lives and see exactly where we are heading, what we need to release, what really we need to keep, and what we're gonna move forward with.
Mhm.
That is what we really need to do. And this is such a perfect time of the year that we can do that because it's the 6th month. And we still have some time before we finish 2026. And the time is now. The time is this present moment. Grab yourself a notepad, grab yourself a pen, and start to write, because there is clarity in writing. There is power in writing. When you start to write things down, there is so many things start to come into play. You get a clarity. It may not come right away, but as you write, every day you put in the work and you write, you start to see things more clearly. You get a clearer vision. And let it be an intentional recalibration. Intentional recalibration. Be intentional of what you're saying. Be intentional about what you're doing. Because if you're not intentional, it's not going to align. And then you're going to tell yourself, this is not working. It can't work because you're not aligned to what you're saying. Your narrative, as we'll talk about our narrative is super important in our lives. Many times we are holding ourselves back from a lot of things. We are holding ourselves back. And then we're asking ourselves, oh, this is not working. This is not going to work. But your narrative, because you are telling yourself what you're not embodying. You're telling yourself one thing, but you want to embody something else. It's not going to align. It's not going to align. And it can't happen. It's simple. It is absolutely simple. So, you know what? We at this midpoint, we really got to look at ourselves, and let's use the holistic framework. It's the physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, and social. So look at all these aspects in your life: your physical, your emotional, your mental, your spiritual, your social. Look at all these areas in your life and see where adjustment need to happen, and start making those adjustments. Because the thing is that when you are aligning yourself to what you're looking for, you got to embody it first before you can see it. You got to see it from the end. And once you can see it from the end, the magic start to happen. So you have these goals. Some of them didn't really manifest as yet. So just look at it, make your little tweaks, and just do the little micro breaking down. And don't beat up yourself. Don't be hard on yourself, because many times we are hard on ourselves. Don't be hard on yourself. Show yourself grace. Show yourself grace and compassion. We are humans. We're going to make mistakes. Nothing is perfect. But at the same time, you got to show yourself some grace. Right, Will?
That's absolutely right. This
That
was
was
a good,
good.
really good show.
Really, really is. Really is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is really
yeah,
good.
Still on.
yeah.
Some great pointers really came out here. And what happened is that, and you took, I know she pitched the mic to you, but you talk about embodiment, alignment, confidence, spirituality, and the holistic framework. All of that in totality, the will help you, help who's watching or
Yes.
who's going to catch us on the replay,
That's
to
right.
help you, to shape you, to reaffirm, rest, reset, release, make the level of adjustment. How are you going to move forward? Take it all.
That's good.
Yes.
You know, you ladies mentioned that we have well, it's 6 months left in this year, right? The number 6 is new beginnings. So
Right,
Absolutely.
correct.
you have a new start
Mm-hmm.
to finish out this year with. So
Mm-hmm.
as Lady J just mentioned, take your time. Lady K told
Yes.
you, reset, be
Yeah.
deliberate and intentional about it. That's psychological. And everything will start, you'll start to see the results that you're asking
Yeah.
for. So it's not over. Take your
No,
time
it's not.
and just absorb what has happened to you where you are right
Right.
now,
Right.
and then come up with how you're going to. And she just told you how to do it. She gave you a blueprint. So
Yes.
rewatch the show if you need to hear exactly
Right.
how she laid it out. But write that down and then follow those words, and I guarantee
Yes.
you'll get results that you were looking for.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Thank you, Will. Thank you,
Thank you.
Will.
This was really,
Yeah,
really good.
it was very empowering
Mm-hmm.
and very inspiring
Mm-hmm.
because we all need this. You know, while myself and Joan was even planning out for this topic today, we had to even look at our lives
Right.
and our goals from January to now. We had to look at ourselves and ask ourselves questions, you know, what more we need to focus on, what more
right,
we need to like put at the back burner for now, you
right.
know. It even helped us to look at our
Hmm.
journey as well, you know.
Absolutely.
And the
Example.
thing is, yeah,
Right.
it helps us because many times we're doing this topic, we are doing reflection on the topic as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yes.
helping us as well on this journey. So we got to look at our lives more in depth.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to don't be afraid to ask ourselves the hard questions.
That's
No.
good.
Because many times we are afraid to ask ourselves the hard questions.
Yes.
And don't try to answer it right away.
No.
Allow it to sit. Allow it to sit a little bit. And then you come back to it. Because when you come back to something, you get more clarity about what you're asking yourself. And just let things go. Things that are not serving you in your life, just let it go.
Mhm.
Because you're holding on to energies that you don't need to be holding on
Right.
to.
Exactly.
You need to clear up that space so new things could start coming in. That is why I said before that many times we are holding ourselves back from a lot of things in life because we're holding on to all dense energy. It's
Yes.
dense unforgiveness. All these things are dense
Mm-hmm.
energies that we're holding on to, and we're not clearing our pathway so we could able to get to move freely and not taking baggages because certain baggages we don't need to take.
Right.
Put down those baggages. It's time. It's mid-year.
Yes.
Put those baggages
Yeah.
down.
Put
Yeah.
them
It's
down.
mid-year.
It's with you. And
Yes.
and but I'm glad you talk about that because then you become heavy laden and you feel weighed down. You feel stuck,
Yeah.
and you can't even move to the next. And what is waiting in the next to you is so beautiful.
Yes.
So much joy, so much happiness is waiting, but it is waiting for you to let and release. That's where it really the topic really entwined with us too, because
Yeah.
that's why it's important for you to, yes, somebody might have done you wrong, yes,
Yes.
they might have hurt you, but you got to come to the level that you got to make a conscious choice. Do I want to continue to live the way I'm living and
Mm-hmm.
feeling the way I'm feeling,
True.
or do I want to make a choice
Right.
that I is making a conscious choice and I'm making a decision. I
Mm-hmm.
want to release this. I want to let this go because I want to move beyond this
Yeah.
and get to
Right.
experience what is on the
Mm-hmm.
other side for me,
Mm-hmm.
so that I can walk strong. I can say my
Yeah.
power. I can enjoy my greatness that is waiting for me.
Mm-hmm.
But to get to that level, you got to let some things go.
Gotta let it go.
Everybody may take time to forgive, and it's okay.
Yeah.
You do it in your own time in small increments. You can find it in your heart of hearts that you can chip away easily. But what one of the things you want to ask if you just don't stay there, because you're robbing yourself of the joy that is waiting on the other side for you, that you can live the best version of yourself,
Mm-hmm.
your
Right.
true essential self. So
Mm-hmm.
tonight, that's what we're asking of you.
Yeah.
Look at yourself. That's what is not serving you well,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can really live and live out loud, live out great. You're at midpoint.
Yes.
Start seeking and looking at yourself and turn inwards. Turn, lean inwards,
Mm-hmm.
move
Right.
into the level of intuition,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can gather the level of wisdom, the level of inspiration and
Mm-hmm.
understanding. How do I move to my next?
Absolutely.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Go
You
ahead.
know, we're gonna leave you with this. The first thing you're gonna do reflection.
Mm-hmm.
Reflect. Don't rush the process because many times you want to rush things through. Sit, pause, reflect, and
Yeah,
reflect on it and
that
ask
needs
it.
that need
Look
applause
at
indeed.
this. Look at this and tell yourself and ask yourself, look how far I have come
Right. Oh,
at
that's
this
good.
point since January. I am here.
Mm-hmm.
From January to now, I am here.
Yeah.
And what have you accomplished? And what have you learned from January to now? What have you learned in the whole 6 months? What have you learned? Write it down. Just write it down. What
That's
have you
it.
learned? Write it down. And what has surprised you about yourself? Because many things we didn't even plan and it happened.
Sure.
It just show up. And then you say to yourself, wait a minute. I didn't even know I had this in me. I didn't even know I had this in me because it just showed.
Right.
Because you know what? The best start to come out because you're getting clarity. So the best shining through you now,
Yes.
And when you do this, it's taking an honest look at yourself. You're being honest when you're doing the reflection, you're being honest with yourself. And then you're going to do the goal audit. You're going to look at the goal. You're going to tweak your narrative. As Will said, you got to look at your narrative, right? And then you got to ask yourself, are these goals still relevant? Because many times when we are shifting the goals in that we set, it's not relevant anymore with us. So you got to ask yourself, are these goals relevant? And then are they still aligned with what I am actually going to? Are they aligned with me? And looking back at January to now, right? You just look at it and see what is real and what is not. So it's doing the goal audit, doing the reflection, the goal audit. Then you're setting a new milestone now. You're going to set a new milestone, how you're going to be moving forward. So when you set the new milestone is keeping the milestones small now. So it's going to be short-term, mid-term, and long-term milestones. And you're going to write it out because, as I said before, it's always the power in writing. Many times you don't want to write things, but we believe that when you write things out, there is a power in writing.
Yes,
And you
it
get a
is.
lot of clarity when you write things out. You get so much clarity, and it could able to help you as an individual to understand your journey and understand what you're doing. So we just want to thank you so much for taking the time this evening and sitting with us. And we just want to thank everyone who joined us on IG and on YouTube, the new subscribers. We just want to thank you so much. Continue to share us out if you know someone who could benefit from our podcast every week. We just want to encourage you to share us out because we are looking to spread the word in other communities. We're looking to spread the word. And when we can do something for someone, we are helping someone. And you just never know what someone is going through at this point in time because many times people are not saying what's hurting them. They're not saying what's bothering them. But sometimes you can notice something is off if you're aware.
Right.
You can see something is off with people. So just share us out and just continue to look out for someone. Send someone a message if you haven't heard from them in a long time. Just send them a message, check in with them, see how they're doing. Because it's tough. We can tell you it's tough. People are going through some real tough
Yes, they
times.
are. Yes, they are.
So reach out and reach out with compassion and love. Don't reach out because you want to gossip. Because many times we're looking for information to gossip. Do not do things like that. Be genuine when you reach out to find out about someone. Be genuine about it. Not to gossip. Don't do that. No, we won't advise you to do something like that. Lady, Joan, take the mic.
That was really good. That was really good, because you inspired us all to take inspired action.
You have to. That's
It
the only
was
way it's gonna work. It's gonna work no matter way.
it was a call to action.
Yeah,
Right?
it
It
is.
was a call
Yeah.
to action. And the thing I would add to as well is you emphasize in writing the emotion, because you want to live from the end. This Neville Goddard always said in his teaching, you know, write with that level of emotion, because you
Yes.
want to write, what does it feel like when I achieve this goal?
Yes.
And so
Exactly. Yep.
you wrote that level of emotion, you start to see it in your mind's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And what is it going to feel like when I already start my podcast? What is it going to feel
Mhm.
like for me hold my book in my hand?
Mhm.
And what does it feel like for me that
Mhm.
I decided to write, I write my novel, my memoir, whatever is it for you, and that I'm sharing the word with the world, and I'm holding my book in my hand, and I'm going to be making speeches, and whatever is it for you.
Mhm.
So what we want to say tonight to you, and what we are saying to you tonight, is believe in yourself, stay true to yourself, stay rooted in self-love,
Mhm.
and remind yourself that you are special, you are amazing, and you're unique,
Mhm.
and you are enough. And we don't forget your I am.
True.
You're capable, you're enough, and you got so much that is within you, so much gifts that you are going to be birthing soon.
Mhm.
You're pregnant with possibilities,
Yes.
right? And whenever it's your spiritual connection, lean on that so that it can continue to provide you with inspiration,
Mhm.
wisdom, and guidance, so that you can move from midpoint forward. And so at
Mhm.
the conclusion of 2026, when
Mhm.
you look back at this show and where you started to take some new steps, new implementation, you can look back and say, you know what? I've done the work. I've mastered my craft. I've taken inspired action, and I feel good about myself where I am, so that I can move forward in 2027. Know that I've gathered some new tools that can help me to live out my life in the best version of myself.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it. And
There you go.
before we end, I just want to let you know that you have 6 months of runway left.
Okay, that's good.
It starts with an honest conversation with yourself. You got
Absolutely.
6 months of runway left.
Right.
Get
But the
busy.
honest, yes, exactly. So the honest conversation left with you.
It's all about you now.
You have to make that honest conversation. You got to know what fuel you're putting into your plane to make the runway.
Mhm.
You got to know the passengers you're taking in. You know who you're stamping in. You know.
Yes.
So you got to watch your circle, the people you're surrounding yourselves with, what you're listening to, what you're plugging into your system. All of those things.
Oh,
You got to look at all of those things, because all of those things make up you as an individual. Watch it, all of those things. We love
it.
you guys. See you
This
again
was
on
so
Sunday.
good.
Will, thank you so much,
Thank
Tommy.
you.
Thank you.
Much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It's
Have a
good.
wonderful rest of the week.
Peace.
Midpoint, please. Midpoint.
Wow, this is so